lot of with Abreu and Jimenez. So you got guys who are Spanish speaking, and it really helps. I would imagine to have someone who speaks the same language. So. And the reason he got launched from the Cubs is Joe Maddon became available, right, from Tampa. So I can't see a scenario where who would be freed up to where it would drive the White Sox to really we need that guy for them to take the next step. I don't think so. I think it really asks. You just have to watch to see if the young guys get better or if they regress. Because if they're regressing, then yeah, you definitely have to make a change.
I got a name that I could throw out for a curveball who might be a wild fit, but it may just work out. He is a Chicagoan. He did go Northwestern University.
No.
You know who I'm about to guess.
Yeah, but go ahead, say it.
Joe Girardi.
Yeah, exactly. I knew it. Yeah.
But why not? I mean, listen, hold on. Let's speak about this for a second. Yeah, he went to Northwestern University. He played for the Cubs. But I also like to think, you know what, a guy like Joe Girardi, even though he did struggle with taking that Yankees team to the next level, I do feel like a guy right now in him, he could definitely be a guy, at least be a better communicator and come up, at least to start off with. Don't get me wrong. I understand a little bit of hesitation right there. But right now, I mean, why not? I mean, you want to take a gamble. You want to show Sox fans, I mean, if Jerry Reinsdorf is going to be continue the guy who's not going to be willing to spend or allowing Rick Hahn to run this team the way it should be, it's clear as evidence there's something roadblocking on the way in terms of their plan to start signing the big name guys.
Well, that's just not in their MO is to spend big money, right? And so they'll spend the money, but it has to be within their budget, whatever that is. And I don't know if they're willing to pay for an elite manager like that. Joe Girardi's I know he's not managing right now, right?
No, he's not.
So I even though he's not in the league right now, he's still going to command a good paycheck at the end of the day. And the White Sox, I guarantee, won't be the only team in the bidding for him. Not to mention the Cubs, right? I hate to say it, but Joe Maddon, he's entering the last year of his deal right now, and depending on what happens with the Cubs this year, he could be seeing a vacancy in that position too. So, I don't know. I don't think so right now. I think Rick's the guy. Until, like you said, until they really start getting into that playoff, I know they can really contend for to be in the playoffs. So, but we'll see. I mean, why not him? I honestly, I just don't see. Not Yost, right? With the Brewers last year, right? It's come on. It's what experience did he have before they went that deep, right? So I don't see why Rick can't be the manager of this team when they're contending for a World Series. Like I said, it just depends. You just got to watch. If the young guys get better or get worse, then that'll be your measuring stick rather than wins or losses.
Again, that number to dial up is 312-209-2232. Again, that's 312-209-2232. Paul, just real quickly before we wrap up the White Sox talk real quick, over-under amount of wins as far as with this team, 75. Over-under for this ball club.
Ooh. I'm going to go over, but a tad. I think that's right. So I'd say 75, honestly. 75 to 80 wins is where I'd have this club this year. I think they'll be incrementally better, but not much. And I think Eloy Jimenez coming up he's gonna add a few wins to that column, so he'll be a factor. And Rodon, a good start for him the other day. If they just could stay relatively healthy, I don't think there's any way they can trip into 75, 80 wins, especially the AL Central is not really this juggernaut it was back, from 4 or 5 years ago, right? When you had the Twins and the Tigers, and it was a melee at the top. Now that's kind of a wide open division, no?
Yeah, probably so, but I'm gonna have to go probably under. I'm gonna probably have to go probably around 70 wins, just unfortunately, only because you do got Rick Renteria. You got when you look at this roster. I mean, yeah, it's fairly young right now, but my only concern is right now, I mean, I think one of the question marks on here could probably be Jose Abreu. Is that going to be one of the guys where you decide to move on from right now, who's been around quite a while with the Southsiders? And I'm just a little bit concerned. And then you still got also on your team, you got James Shields. I mean, he another guy that I feel was a question mark right here. No, not James Shields. Excuse me. But I'm just saying right now. I mean, when you look at Carlos Rodon, Dylan Colby, Nate Jones, Ryan Burr. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit too much inexperience just yet. I mean, you got some guys on here, but I do feel like
Mancada, they got I'm trying to think. Anderson, they got guys. They got. I think that's what I'm saying. They'll rack up a lot of their wins in the just facing the Central, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think that they're going to be right in that range, right? Charlie, I'm thinking 75 wins probably about right. I think, like I said, they'll be incrementally better, but not much so. And plus they can still have a couple of guys they can bring up during the year who can help, right? So, yeah.
All right, well, now time to transition right now to NBA basketball. Yes, definitely the good old days right there when you hear that theme. But right now, let's focus in right now as we're looking at, aside from the Chicago Bulls, I mean, they signed one of the very own from the Windy City Bulls. That was just mentioned in the top of the hour sports update. As a matter of fact, Walt Lemon Jr., who's coming from the Windy City Bulls, no details yet on the contract, but he has previously played with the New Orleans Pelicans. Averaged about 20 points a game, and let's just see what he does in the NBA. But one of the bigger trending stories I was finding, and I'm just going to continue this back up. I know I've been talking a lot of LeBron James the last few weeks, but speaking of LA right now, you got the Clippers right now who definitely opened a lot of people's eyes right now. They're in the playoffs right now after being predicted by ESPN to have around 33 wins or something?
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. And the LA Lakers being a little weak this year kind of gave them that opening to just, we saw it at the beginning of the year, or at least we had an idea that the parity in this league was going to be with all the free agent moves that happened during the offseason. You're going to have great parity now that you have in the NBA that you haven't, or we haven't had for how long, right?
Hold those thoughts right now. We're going to have to stop as we're getting ready to hit this bottom of the hour scoreboard update. Me, Charles, Prodigy, Richey, and the Caveman and Mike. It's me, Pauly C. At 1:30 p.m., I'm Charles Prodigy Richey with your Chicagoland Sports Radio update. Brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information on careers in broadcasting, go beyonair.com. Well, we're going to be taking a look at some NBA action tonight as Chicago Bulls. They're going to be looking to snap a 3-game losing streak, which includes losing 2 other 3 losses at home at the UC. They'll be hosting the Raptors, who's actually the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. That tip-off is set to begin at 7 p.m. Also, some interesting news: Chicago Bulls, they have signed Windy City Bulls player Walt Lemon Jr., Chicago native, who posted averages about 20.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, 8.9 assists, and 1.48 steals in 33.1 minutes per game. He is also an international player in Hungary, Germany, Turkey, and Greece, as well as the University of Baylor Prague. Also, speaking of other games coming up, some notable games, Thunder, who will not be in action tonight, can wrap off a playoff berth if the Rockets defeat the Kings. It's either a win for the Thunder or another Kings loss. They'll be in the playoffs. Rockets will be hosting the Kings. That game is set to be tipped off at 5 p.m. at the Toyota Center. Adrian Wojnarowski also has news on former Bulls head coach Fred Hoiberg. Talks have remained ongoing for him to become the school's head coaching job with Nebraska. In the NHL, the Hawks will be looking to avenge their humiliating loss from earlier this month, back on March 2nd, when they lost at home to the LA Kings 6-3. They're currently trailing the Avalanche by 7 points for the final playoff spot. The Hawks will need to win out and either hope for the Avalanche to earn 2 ties or go 0-4 the rest of the way. This update has been once again brought to you by beyonair.com. Make sure to check out the Chicago Blackhawks' next upcoming game, as they will be taking on the road tonight against the LA Kings. For more information, check out the information at ChicagoBlackhawks.com. I'm Charles Prodigy Richey, and this has been your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update. It's not just sports, it's a way of life. And now back to On Deck on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Yeah, and we're just talking real quickly. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know about you, but the Clippers right now becoming the new Golden Boys of LA right now, Paul.
Well, yeah, they've been kind of on their way for a little bit now. It started with the rebirth after the whole Sterling incident, and even a little bit before that, drafting Blake Griffin. So they've been kind of trying for a little bit now to get past this stigma of being the second team in LA, right? And yeah, I think now that the LA Lakers, after trying to find life after Kobe, yeah, definitely, it's giving them the opening they need to fill a void of a championship contending team. So yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think right now they're definitely taking some big time advantage. Like I always said, I would definitely check a guy with the original LA Mr. Basketball and Jerry West over a guy like Magic Johnson. He was definitely flopping and failing miserably little by little. Hate to say it. But anyway, on to some March Madness too, by the way. North Carolina Tar Heels upset yesterday, last night, by Charles Barkley's his alma mater team right there.
Oh, wow.
By Auburn Tigers, hitting 17 3-point field goals, hung Carolina on the glass, and defended the paint and scored 90 points off Tar Heels turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, college basketball, right? In full swing, man. It's you said it in the update, first number 1 seed to go down, and it's exciting, dude. It's exciting. You got a lot of good players in this tournament, and I don't know. I can't see any more upsets along the way. How about you?
I maybe Duke tomorrow against Michigan State. That'd be the only one, because they're definitely ranked towards the bottom of the league in like 3-point shots or 3 points made. They definitely came close a few games. The last one against UCF
was it by 1 point, right? They were only
pretty much, yeah. And then last night against Virginia Tech. So that's the team that we'll be a little bit concerned with. I don't know about you, but I would be.
Well, I think you said it. The magic words there, Charlie. The 3-pointer, right? They're a team that struggles with the outside shot, and even though he got the best player in the country in Zion Williamson, if you can't defend, if you can't shoot the ball, I mean, you're gonna have trouble.
More after this. We're gonna take a break from NBA fast break as well as NCAA March Madness. Coming up, we're gonna have Julie Harshberger join us on the line. I'm Charles. That's Paul. You're listening on deck only on CSR.
So what you got going on the rest of the day, man?
Working out,
yeah,
and then that's about it, pretty much.
Nice. So, is she coming into the break, or what do you lead on? What are you coming back with? Is there an interview?
Yeah, pretty much an interview. We're gonna be closing out. I'm gonna start calling her right now. You're on the phone. About 8.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good on both.
Hey, Joel, this is Charles Richey of CSR. How you doing? Good. We're actually about less than 3 minutes away from coming out of break. You all set to go? Anything else you want to bring up?
I think I'll start. I can't think of anything.
Cool. Well, thank you once again. Let's get ready to rock this thing. Thank you so much, Julie.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put you on the brief hold, okay?
Okay.
And we are back here on CSR on deck with me, Charles Prodigy, Richey, and the Caveman. The mic, it's me, Pauly C. 47. You can follow him on Twitter. That's a swear hashtag. You can follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richey. And right now, we are so delightful and delighted and honored to have none other right now here returning to the show. She was here once upon a time, famously back on In the Zone, thanks courtesy to then Director of Public Relations for the Chicago Eagles, who she played on, as a matter of fact. I'm talking about none other than former female women's football player Julie Harshberger. And she played for about 17 years for the CIFL as special teams player, Chicago Eagles, as I just mentioned, Chicago Blitz, and the Rockton Force. She is also a graduate from Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois. She'd be followed at Julie Harsh 99. Julie, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. How are things going with you nowadays?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Cool. Well, I know 2017 was the last people heard of you as far as in the game of football. You did a lot of wonders with that game. You were a kicker, special teams player, did a lot of stuff. What's one of the things you miss most about playing in the game?
I think the thing I miss the most is just the adrenaline, doing a game and just the butterflies before the game starts. When you're really excited and kind of nervous, when you play. I miss that feeling a lot.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine, because I definitely had an hour. I was there covering you one time, and I was also doing play-by-play for the Chicago Eagles. This is back in 2016. And I remember we had you on a show one time, thanks to LaDonna Ray. She was one of the PR assistants, and it was definitely an hour just watching you, doing the things you did. Did a lot of courage, a lot of stuff you dedicated your heart, mind, and soul to that, and a lot of people who viewed you.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Also, too, I was also looking back. I mean, when you're playing in that time, of course, obviously, aside from just when you think of football, definitely have a lot more women playing little by little, and of course, you haven't played in that sport. What would you say was your biggest fear when you're getting involved in this, and what was your biggest challenge you look forward to conquering while playing in this game?
My biggest fear was probably letting, for a kicker, you have one job, take the field goal. And my biggest fear was that I messed up, but my teammates down. That was always you got to make sure I did this right, and keep my head down, follow through, and hit the pick.
Awesome.
Biggest, yeah. And what was the other question?
No, the other challenge. What was one of the challenges you love to try and conquer? So since you already answered your part about the biggest fear, what was the biggest challenge you love looking forward to every time when stepping on that field and suiting up as a team player?
Man, I don't know. Probably, just making sure I got those field goals in, or not tripping whenever I ran out on the field or something like that.
Awesome. I understand. Right now, once again, folks, we are joined on the line right here on CSR On Deck right now by Julie Harshberger, as she could be followed on Twitter. She can be followed at Julie Harsh 99.
Hi, Jules, and thank you for joining us again. And my question is, when you mentioned not wanting to screw up, here in Chicago, kicking has been kind of been a talking point here with the whole Bears and the Cody Parkey thing. Can you just describe, since you did it for so long, what are the pressures of being a kicker and kicking in a not just in any game, but an important game? Does the intensity of the moment matter, or is it just you just go out there and do your job, or how does that, just describe the pressures of being in a game and the game having to come down to your kick?
Well, I think a lot lot of the pressures and stuff are like mentally so like you would have a accident or mess up and getting over that and just like kind of a clear like on your next pitch, but then still kind of thinking like maybe, oh, like what did I do wrong fixing it, but then not dwelling on it kind of, you know, because like a lot of like there's sometimes kind of it's a more of a mental game inside that it's just like keeping your head right and clear and you know, if you mess up, it's like I make mistakes, like you experience or start over else to do it, you know?
Yeah, and another thing I was trying to ask you, Jules, is you're starting to see more women participate not just in a playing capacity, but coaching wise too, in college and in the NFL. And do you think that this is the start of something like I don't want to say a movement, but like you're just in the future we're going to start to see more and more women participate in football on all levels. And what do you think's going on right now that's kind of spurring that movement?
Well, I think like it's really awesome to see a lot. It's just like, you know, there's a lot more in the media about it and stuff. Like, you know, NFL commercials, for example, is like the Super Bowl is the NFL 360 commercial that it had the Cam Gordon in it, and then they had all these NFL players. You know the one that like the takeover and stuff, that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just more of a, I don't know, like it's out there more and people are, you know, accepting it, and even like there's the women's league, they're becoming more space and more options for girls to play. So like if they want to play football, they don't just have to like try and like play on a men's team. Like now there's like the laundry or the women's football league and the WSA, and it's really cool to is that.
Also, Jules, too. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that again? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. What was that?
No, I'm sorry. I just said it's growing and it's awesome. So it's really fun to watch.
No, it is definitely fun to watch, and just watching the continue, like especially around the youth, especially around the league and football in general, which a lot of people love. While playing in there throughout your career, especially with the CIFL or the indoor arena leagues, and you look at the current product with the NFL, which seems to struggle with ratings and more particular with safeness of the game and the way players are being treated professionally, where it's like guarantees or anything. Is there any bit of like when you're playing your playing career, you think the NFL can look at and take notes from as far as making it a better overall league? Anything they can do to tweak the game and make it more enjoyable for all people without much concerns?
I don't know about that. I like what they're doing now with it, I guess. I don't know, like, what changes I would want to see or.
Do you feel like the leagues that you played in, do you feel like they had like a little bit of like an influence on what they could do to try and improve like their areas of the game, where it's like popularity or just drawing people a little bit more closer to the game, or just making it just seem like it could definitely be safer and something you could keep going? Do you feel like any of the teams you played on, it influenced what they could do in today's league?
Yeah, I guess maybe maybe like more like just getting the teams out there and stuff. Because I know like when I was playing, a lot of people like they're like, "You're playing that? What is that?" Like a lot of people didn't really know about it. I guess maybe just like more marketing and more advertising with it, maybe.
No, I definitely understand. That's definitely a little bit of a harder one to wrap around too, and I can understand that. But also too, if you just before we let you out of here, if you have one message you want to share with all the people who followed and watched you playing or staying in contact with you and witness what you were able to do professionally and personally, what would be the message you want people to remember you by, or what impressions you want to leave?
I would just like thank everyone for like their support like throughout you know, my playing career and stuff. Like they're always supportive and like there's a lot of times where like I'd be on the road and like I ask friends and family to like help with my pets and that kind of stuff, and the other one was like, oh yeah, we got you, and like good luck, start, just like a thanks to everyone for helping me through that.
Awesome. Hey, well, Julie, I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Paul and I for joining us here, taking a moment of your time here on Deck on CSR. Hopefully, we could do this again. We could reach back out and see how things are further going on. But I just wanted to say, on behalf of everyone, I'm going to leave you with this saying, like with Tina Turner, and what you've done and meant to a lot of people. You're simply the best and definitely better than all the rest. And we wanted to say thank you for your time here once again.
Thank you again for having me on your show.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you, Jules. Appreciate it.
All right, Julie, best regards, and hopefully we'll see you down the road later on. You take care.
All right, sounds great. You too. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. And once again, I just thought, she was like a real good, like a person to follow right here. I caught my eye, definitely.
Yeah, anytime, football, female players, especially one who, and again, not that it's an anomaly, but to play with the men, that's tough. I wish, one thing I would have asked her was like, what is it like to play in the league when basically you're on a team when you're the only woman player, and it's definitely inspiring. That's how that's how they want to say stereotypes are broken. Is it takes one to just break it. So good for her.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely understand that. I mean, you also look at some of the things too. It's also fun to see a lot more like women referees in there too. It definitely shows just a little bit more stuff you can improve upon. I definitely feel like these leagues right here, when you look at like something like a flag football or like the AAF, I hope it does not fold, but it's just stuff that I think they could definitely take a look and have a little bit more a fresher taste.
There's room for women in football and women's football. So it's welcomed. It's an option, and it's just all in all, it's nothing but positive, positive development with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to say we're gonna have to like call this to a close right now. I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone for checking us out here on Deck on CSR. As you can check us out every weekend, every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Show us from 1 to 2 p.m. You can follow me at Prodigy. You can follow my man Pauly C. It's me, Pauly C. 47, and he hosts alongside with Pat Quinn, Mighty Mouse on the Fans Corner, along with the Rising Feminists on Fridays. That's from 12 to 2 p.m. And his show, by the way, the Fans Corner, you can plug that in at 3 to 5 p.m.
You got it, my man. Oh, I was going to say it, but no, you remember it all perfectly. So, yeah, thank you.
And if you ever want, feel free to check out a career in broadcast. You need a little change in life, make sure to check out beonair.com or visit one of the campuses here in the downtown area in Chicago as we're going to leave you. All right, well, that's going to do it for this show. As we always leave you, don't be trolling, be rolling. We gone. Hey, it's Prodigy, your cast with the happening stats, where we keep all your Chicago and national sports topics trending. And on that, only on CSR.
Yeah.
John, I never looked like you before. Rick, Amanda Nunes.
Are you going
And the live stream?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. It's
fun.
fun.
Are unparalleled. Came this close to breaking Mikel Pennington